November 4th, 1944. 1940 hours. 12,000 feet over Cologne. The German Junkers 88 night fighter floats 400 feet ahead in the darkness. Its twin engines glow faint red through the exhaust stacks. Dark crosses mark the fuselage. The crew inside has no idea they are being hunted. Captain Elias Hardwick's hands rest steady on the control column of his de Havilland Mosquito. 23 years old. Cedar Rapids, Iowa. 3 years ago, he was fixing tractors on his father's farm. Now he sits behind a German aircraft carrying 3 men who want to kill British bomber crews. His finger hovers near the trigger of 4 Hispano cannons. 700 rounds total. 175 per gun. The Junkers holds course. Still searching. Still unaware. Range 400 feet. Flight Lieutenant Graham Prescott's voice comes through the intercom. Calm. British accent. 26 years old. Navigator and radar operator. The man who makes this possible. Steady on bearing. Target maintaining 230 knots. Hardwick centers the gun sight on the Junker's port engine. Not the cockpit. Never the cockpit. Give them a chance. That is the rule. 3 seconds. 50 rounds per cannon. 200 total. Enough to destroy an engine. Enough to force them down. Maybe enough to let them live. His philosophy since February. Aim for the machine, not the men. Contact. Prescott's voice cuts sharp. New contact range 2 miles, bearing 090, closing fast. Another German fighter. Hunting the same airspace. The sky that seemed empty seconds ago suddenly crowded with death. 2 seconds to decide. First target, first or evade the second. Hardwick presses the trigger. 4 cannons fire. Tracer rounds arc forward in the darkness. Orange streaks. The shells hammer into the Junker's port engine. Metal tears. Fuel ignites. Fire erupts immediately, streaming back from the nacelle. The German aircraft rolls hard right, diving away. That is kill number 3 tonight. Hardwick pulls up sharply to avoid debris. The Junkers disappears from sight at 3,000 feet, trailing flames. He does not watch it hit the ground. No time. Prescott's second contact is still closing. In 37 minutes, Captain Elias Hardwick will destroy 4 German night fighters in a single mission. By the end of the war, he will have 21 confirmed victories, the highest scoring American night fighter pilot in history, a record that stands 80 years later. This is how he did it. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, summer 1938. Elias Hardwick is 17 years old and he hates tractors. Not the machines themselves. He understands machines, knows how they work, can take apart a Farmall F-20 and rebuild it in an afternoon. What he hates is that tractors are the only machines available. The only things to fix in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, population 12,000. He wants to fix aircraft. The magazines arrive every month. Aviation Week. Popular Mechanics. He studies them in the barn after dinner. Pratt & Whitney R-183O twin Wasp engines. 14 cylinders. 1,200 horsepower. He memorizes the specifications. Knows them better than he knows the Bible verses his mother makes him recite on Sundays. His father fought in France. 1918. Came home and never spoke about it. Only one lesson ever offered. Eli, if you are going to do something, master it, or don't do it at all. Elias masters tractors because they are what he has. Saves every dollar. Plans to leave for an aviation mechanics school in Chicago. Someday, when he has enough money. When the farm can spare him. His sister Lorelei is 14. Both know it. She helps him study aircraft specifications while she memorizes anatomy. They quiz each other in the barn. What is the displacement of an R-183O? What are the bones in the human hand? They are going to leave Cedar Rapids together, find something bigger than Iowa corn and hog futures. Then December 7th, 1941 happens. Pearl Harbor. Enlistment. Failure. The news reaches Cedar Rapids on a Sunday. Elias is 20 years old. He and Lorelei are walking home from church when they see people gathered around a radio in the drugstore window. The announcer's voice crackling. Japanese forces have attacked Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Monday morning, Elias drives to the Army recruiting station. The line stretches around the block. Boys from the farms, boys from the factories, all wanting the same thing, to fight back. He signs the papers. United States Army Air Forces. His father says nothing when Elias tells him, just nods. The same nod he gave when Elias said he wanted to fix aircraft. A nod that means your choice, your life. Master it or fail. Lorelei cries, "You said we would leave together." "We will," Elias tells her. "I will come back. Then we go to Chicago, I promise. Basic training, flight school. Elias excels in mechanics and navigation, fails in one critical area, motion sickness. At altitude and turbulence, his body rebels. He cannot hold down food, cannot focus. The instructors wash him out of bomber pilot training after 6 weeks. The shame is worse than the nausea. He sits in the barracks that night, reading his termination notice. Unsuitable for combat flight duties. He has never failed at anything he tried to master. A week later, an instructor pulls him aside. Hardwick, you know about night fighters. Sir, single-engine or twin-engine aircraft. Low altitude, steady flight, no formation flying, no bombing runs, just hunting. Radar-guided interception. You do not need a strong stomach. You need patience and the ability to think in 3 dimensions. I can do that, sir. Then transfer to England. The British are building night fighter squadrons. They need men who understand electronics and can stay calm under pressure. Americans with technical knowledge are valuable. 3 months later, Elias Hardwick ships out to England as a volunteer in the Royal Air Force. He is 21 years old. He has never been further from Cedar Rapids than Chicago. Now he is crossing the Atlantic toward a war he does not yet understand. RAF Station Swanington, Norfolk. July 1942. England is cold and wet and nothing like Iowa. The airfield sits in flat farmland that reminds Hardwick of home, except everything is smaller. Smaller fields, smaller trees, smaller sky. Number 85 Squadron operates de Havilland Mosquitoes, twin Merlin engines, wooden airframe, plywood and balsa construction. The British call it the Wooden Wonder. Top speed 380 miles per hour at 22,000 feet, faster than most German fighters, armed with 4 20mm Hispano cannons and 4 Browning machine guns. The first time Hardwick sits in the cockpit, he understands why they put him here. The instrument panel is complex. Radio altimeter, artificial horizon, airspeed indicator calibrated in knots. The navigator station behind and to the right holds even more equipment. AI Mark 10 radar, serrate detector, radio compass, IFF transponder. This is not a bomber. This is a machine that requires mastery. His instructor is a flight lieutenant named Graham Prescott, 26 years old, tall, thin, speaks with a clipped British accent that makes every sentence sound like a correction. He looks at Hardwick's paperwork and frowns. American, yes, sir. Washed out of bomber training. Motion sickness, or I see. Prescott taps the paperwork. And you think night fighting will suit you better? I know it will, sir. Prescott's expression does not change. Night fighting requires discipline, Hardwick, not American aggression. You will fly where I tell you to fly. You will fire when I tell you to fire. The radar operator controls the interception. The pilot simply obeys. Do you understand? Yes, sir. Good, because if you do not obey, we will both die. It is not a good beginning. First missions, learning the dance. They fly their first operational sortie together in February 1943. A patrol over the North Sea. Bomber Command is hitting Bremen. German night fighters are expected to scramble from airfields in Holland. Prescott sits in the navigator's seat, eyes on the AI Mark 10 radar screen. Green phosphorescent scope showing returns. He calls directions in a steady voice. Turn port to heading 270. Contact at 4 miles crossing right to left. Hardwick banks the Mosquito, reduces throttle, closes the range. 3 miles, adjust heading 2 degrees starboard. He adjusts. 2 miles, slow to 200 knots. We do not want to overshoot. He throttles back. The Merlin engines settle into a lower rumble. 1 mile, visual range. Do you have it? Hardwick scans the darkness ahead. Sees nothing, just black sky. Negative visual. Then we are too far, close to half a mile. He advances throttle slightly. They close. Still nothing. No aircraft, no silhouette, just darkness. Contact fading, Prescott says. We lost him. Turn to heading 300 and we will try again. They try again and again. 4 intercepts attempted that night. 0 successful. They land at Swanington at 0300 hours. Exhausted, frustrated, empty-handed. Prescott fills out the mission report in silence. Under results, he writes, no contact achieved. Hardwick feels the familiar shame. Failure again. He is good with machines but cannot seem to master this. The next morning, Prescott finds him in the crew room, sets down 2 cups of tea, sits across from him. You fly too aggressively, Prescott says. When I say slow down, you hesitate. When I say turn, you bank too hard. This is not a fighter sweep. This is a dance. A very slow, very precise dance in complete darkness. You must trust my instructions exactly. I do trust you. No, you do not. You think like an American. You want to see the target yourself before you commit. But at night, you will never see them first. I will see them on radar. You will see them at 400 feet if you are lucky. You must trust that I am putting you in the right position. Hardwick drinks the tea. It is terrible. Too bitter. All right, next mission, I follow your instructions exactly. No hesitation? Good. And I will try to give you clearer instructions. Not so much British understatement. That would help. Prescott almost smiles. Almost. Their second mission is better. They achieve visual contact on a German aircraft but lose it before Hardwick can fire. The third mission they get within firing range, but the German pilot sees them and evades. The fourth mission they close to 400 feet, and Hardwick fires a 3-second burst at what Prescott says is a Messerschmitt 110. They see no results, no flames, no crash, probably a miss. The fifth mission is March 11th, 1943. First kill, first doubt. Patrol area is over the channel, bomber command hitting Essen, German night fighters scrambling from bases near Calais. Prescott's voice, contact, range 6 miles bearing 120 altitude indicating same level. Hardwick turns toward the bearing. Smooth bank, maintains altitude exactly. Throttles back to 250 knots. 4 miles, steady, good rate of closure. He holds course, hands light on the controls. Prescott is putting him in position. He just has to trust it. 2 miles, reduced to 200 knots. Throttles back. The Mosquito settles into steady flight. 1 mile, begin looking. He should be at your 11 o'clock, slightly below. Hardwick leans forward, scans the darkness. Sees movement, a shape darker than the surrounding sky. Twin engines, glazed nose. Messerschmitt 110. German night fighter, crew of 3. The aircraft that has been killing British bombers for 3 years. Visual, he says, 11 o'clock low. Range, 800 feet, closing. Good. Take your time. Hardwick matches the Messerschmitt's speed. Closes to 600 feet. The German aircraft holds straight and level. Still searching for bombers, still unaware. He centers the gun sight on the port engine. Not the cockpit, not the crew compartment. The engine. 400 feet. His finger moves to the trigger. 3-second burst. That is the doctrine. Controlled. Precise. He fires. 4 Hispano cannons hammer. Tracer rounds arc forward. Bright orange streaks in the darkness. The shells impact the Messerschmitt's port engine and wing root. Metal tears, sparks fly, then fire. Orange flames blossom and stream back. The Messerschmitt rolls left violently. Diving, out of control, Hardwick pulls up to avoid debris, watches the burning aircraft fall. Prescott has binoculars up tracking it down. Confirmed, Prescott says. Crashed 2 miles northwest of our position. First victory. Well done, Eli. It is the first time Prescott has used his first name. They land at Swanington at 02:30 hours. Ground crew are waiting. They saw the combat report by radio. 1 Messerschmitt, 110 destroyed. First kill for the Hardwick-Prescott partnership. The crew chief shakes Hardwick's hand. Good shooting, Captain. But Hardwick is thinking about the 3 men in that Messerschmitt. Did they bail out? Did they burn? Did they die instantly? Or did they fall for 2 minutes knowing they were going to hit the ground? He aimed for the engine, gave them a chance. That is what he tells himself as he fills out the combat report. Port engine destroyed. Aircraft lost control. Impact observed. Results 1, Messerschmitt 110 destroyed. He does not write about the 3 men. No one asks about them. Lorelei. The letter arrives in April. Hardwick is in the crew room when the mail clerk hands him the envelope. His mother's handwriting. He knows immediately something is wrong. His mother does not write often, only when necessary. He opens it standing by the window. Dear Eli, I am sorry to tell you that your sister Lorelei was killed on March 20th in London. She was working as a volunteer nurse with the Red Cross. A building collapsed during a bombing raid. She was inside helping evacuate patients. They found her body 2 days later. The funeral was yesterday. Your father wanted me to tell you that she was brave and she did not suffer. I'm sorry you could not be here. We know you are doing important work. Lorelei was proud of you. We all are. Love, Mother. March 20th, 9 days before this letter arrived. Lorelei is dead and he did not even know. He reads the letter 3 times, then folds it carefully and puts it in his pocket. Goes outside. Walks across the airfield to the fence line. Stands there looking at the Norfolk farmland, that looks like Iowa but is not Iowa. 19 years old. She wanted to be a nurse. She was smarter than him. She was going to leave Cedar Rapids and see the world. Now she is buried in Cedar Rapids and will never leave. Prescott finds him an hour later. Hardwick, we have a briefing in 20 minutes. My sister is dead. Prescott stops. I am very sorry. Killed in London, bomb raid. She was a nurse, helping people. Would you like to request leave? No. Hardwick turns to face him. I would like to fly tonight. I would like to find German aircraft and destroy them. Can we do that? Prescott looks at him for a long moment. Yes, we can do that. That night they fly. Prescott finds them 2 contacts. Hardwick destroys both. One Junkers, 88. One Messerschmitt, 110. Both times he aims for engines. Both times the aircraft burn and crash. He does not know if the crews survive. He tells himself he gave them a chance. For Lorelei, he thinks. So no one else's sister has to die evacuating patients from a burning building. After that night, something changes. Hardwick and Prescott are no longer pilot and navigator. They are partners, equals. They understand each other, both fighting for something personal, both carrying weight. April through October, 14 victories. They develop a system. Prescott operates the Serrate detector, a modified AI Mark IV radar that picks up transmissions from German Liechtenstein sets. When German night fighters search for British bombers, they broadcast on frequencies between 490 and 600 megahertz. The Serrate receives those transmissions, gives bearing to the target, not range, just direction. Prescott watches signal strength, estimates distance, calls corrections. Turn port 5 degrees, contact strengthening, range approximately 4 miles. Hardwick flies exactly where Prescott tells him, trusts completely. They close within visual range, 400 to 600 feet. Hardwick fires, 3 seconds, sometimes 5 if needed, aims for engines, gives the crew a chance. By October 1944, they have 14 confirmed victories, 3 Messerschmitt 110s, 11 Junkers 88s. German night fighters destroyed before they could reach British bomber streams. The mathematics are simple. Each German night fighter averages 6 bomber kills per year. 14 German fighters destroyed equals 84 bomber crews saved, 840 British lives. Hardwick thinks about this every time he fires. 840 men who will go home to families instead of burning over Germany. But he also thinks about the German crews. 42 men and 14 aircraft. How many bailed out? How many died? He does not know. The combat reports do not track that. Only results. Destroyed, probable, damaged. He tells himself he aims for engines. Tells himself he gives them a chance. Most nights he believes it. Some nights lying in his bunk at Swanington, he thinks about the 4th kill. The one where he fired into the fuel tank and the entire aircraft exploded. No time to bail out. Instant death. Did they know? Did they see the tracers coming? Or did they die without knowing? These are the questions that keep him awake. Prescott never asks these questions. Prescott fills out combat reports with precise handwriting. Aircraft type, time, location, result. He does not speculate about crews. Does not count lives saved or lives taken. Just facts. Hardwick envies the ability to see only facts. On November 3rd, 1944, the briefing officer tells them they have a special mission tomorrow night. Intruder patrol, deep penetration over Germany. Bomber command will be hitting Bochum. German night fighters will scramble from bases around Cologne and the Ruhr. Your job, the briefing officer says, is to hunt them before they reach our bomber streams. Go into their airspace, find them using Serrate, destroy as many as possible. Prescott looks at the maps, marks coordinates, studies approach routes. Hardwick thinks about 14 victories, wonders what 15 will feel like, or 16. He does not know that tomorrow night he will get 4 more. Does not know that tomorrow night everything will change. He just knows they have a mission. And he has learned to master this, the slow dance in darkness, the mathematics of radar interception, the 3-second burst that destroys engines and maybe sometimes lets men live. Graham Prescott closes his mission folder and looks at Hardwick. Ready for tomorrow? Yes, Hardwick says. Ready. Neither of them knows what is coming, but November 4th, 1944 is waiting, and history does not ask if you are ready. November 4th, 1944, 1700 hours, RAF Swanington briefing room. 23 crews sit in wooden chairs facing a large map of northwestern Germany. The map shows airfields marked with red circles. Cologne, Dusseldorf, Bonninghart. Each circle represents a Luftwaffe night fighter station. Each station holds 40 to 60 aircraft, Messerschmitt 110s. Junkers 88s crews with 10 kills, 20 kills, 30 kills. Men who have been hunting British bombers since 1940. Tonight they become the prey. The briefing officer is a squadron leader named Whitmore, 40 years old. Flew Spitfires in the Battle of Britain. Now he coordinates night operations from the ground. He taps the map with a wooden pointer. Gentlemen, Bomber Command is hitting Bochum tonight. 470 Lancasters and Halifaxes. Target is the Stahlwerke steel plant. Expected time over target, 2100 hours. He moves the pointer to the red circles around Cologne. German night fighters will scramble from these bases. Nachtjagdgeschwader 1, Nachtjagdgeschwader 4. Approximately 120 aircraft total. They will form up here, here, and here. He taps 3 points. Then ground control will vector them toward our bomber stream. He pauses, looks at the crews. Your mission is intruder patrol. You will position yourselves near these assembly points before the Germans arrive. Use serrate detection to find them. Engage before they reach the bomber stream. Each night fighter you destroy means 6 to 8 bomber crews that come home alive. The room is silent. Everyone understands the mathematics. Whitmore continues. Weather scattered clouds at 15,000 feet. Moon phase waning crescent. Visibility poor. Perfect for serrate operations. Questions. No hands rise. Good hunting, gentlemen. The crews file out. Hardwick and Prescott walk to their Mosquito, NF Mark II, serial number HK397. They have flown this aircraft for 8 months. Know every gauge, every sound, every vibration. Ground crew have already loaded ammunition. 700 rounds total. 175 per Hispano cannon. The armorer signs the sheet. All systems green, Captain. She's ready. Hardwick climbs into the cockpit. Prescott settles into the navigator's seat behind him. They run the pre-flight checklist together. Fuel, hydraulics, electrical, radios, radar systems. Everything functional. At 17:31 hours, Hardwick starts the Merlin engines. The wooden airframe vibrates. Power builds. He releases brakes and taxis to the runway. Tower clears them for takeoff. 17:31 hours. The Mosquito lifts into the November sky. The mathematics of pursuit. To understand what happens next, you must understand how night fighting works in 1944. The German Liechtenstein SN2 radar is a sophisticated system. Mounted in the nose of Messerschmitt 110s and Junkers 88s, range 4 miles. It scans ahead searching for bomber returns. When it finds a target, it gives the pilot bearing and range. The pilot closes to visual distance. Fires, the bomber burns, the crew dies. This system has killed thousands of British airmen, but it has one critical flaw. It broadcasts. Every time a German night fighter searches for bombers, its radar transmits on frequencies between 490 and 600 megahertz. Those transmissions travel in all directions. Forward toward the bombers, it is hunting. Sideways into empty sky. Backward toward all aircraft it does not know are there. The serrate Mark IV detector receives those backward transmissions, picks them up at ranges exceeding 80 miles, gives bearing to the source, not range, just direction. A green line on Prescott's scope pointing toward the German radar. Prescott watches signal strength, measured in decibels relative to 1 milliwatt. At negative 70 decibel milliwatts, the target is approximately 8 miles away. At negative 50 decibel milliwatts, approximately 3 miles. At negative 30 decibel milliwatts, close enough for visual contact in clear conditions. But at night, visual range is 1,000 feet maximum, usually less. So the interception becomes mathematics. The Mosquito cruises at 300 knots. The Junkers, 88 at 230 knots. Closure rate 70 knots, 103 feet per second. From initial serrate detection at 8 miles to visual range at 1,000 feet takes approximately 4 minutes if everything is perfect. If Prescott's calculations are accurate, if Hardwick flies the exact headings called, if the German does not change course. At 1,000 feet, Hardwick must acquire visual contact. See the silhouette against the slightly lighter sky. Confirm it is enemy. Close to 400 feet. Aim. Fire. 3-second burst. 50 shells per cannon. 200 total. If aimed correctly at the engine, catastrophic damage. Fire. Loss of control. Crash. If aimed incorrectly, minor damage. The German escapes, warns others. The tactical advantage disappears. Precision matters. But there is another factor. The German radar looks forward, scans for bombers ahead. It does not look behind, cannot detect a mosquito on its tail. The crew has no warning, no indication they are being hunted. This creates a psychological equation. The German pilot believes he is the hunter, believes the sky behind him is empty, believes he is safe. That belief kills him. Hardwick and Prescott have used this equation 14 times. 14 German night fighters destroyed. 14 crews who died believing they were hunters right up until the moment they became prey. Tonight, they will use it 4 more times. Crossing the line. At 1800 hours, they cross the English coast at 1,800 feet. Descend to 500 to avoid coastal radar. Climb back to 15,000 over Belgium. Below, scattered lights mark occupied villages. Blackout regulations not as strict here. The war has moved east. People are tired of darkness. Prescott's voice. Serrate is active, no contacts yet. We are 20 minutes from the patrol area. Hardwick adjusts course, heading 120, airspeed 280 knots. Fuel state shows 3 hours 15 minutes remaining, enough for the mission and reserve. The stars are visible above broken clouds. Hardwick can see the plow. Polaris, the same stars he saw from the Iowa farm when he was 17. The same stars Lorelei saw. He wonders if German pilots see the same stars and think about home. Then he stops wondering. Thinking about the enemy as human makes this harder. Entering German airspace, Prescott says. Time 1904, Serrate sweep shows. Contact, range approximately 4 miles. Bearing 090, crossing right to left. Visual pumping, not yet, close to 2 miles first. Hardwick banks right, follows the bearing, throttles back to 250 knots. The first German night fighter is out there, searching, broadcasting, unaware. 3 miles, Prescott says. Signal strengthening, maintain heading. Hardwick holds course, hands steady, breathing controlled. 2 miles, reduce speed to 200 knots. We do not want to overshoot. The Mosquito slows. Prescott refines the bearing. Adjust 5 degrees port. There, hold that. At 1 mile, Prescott says, begin visual search. He should be at your 11 o'clock. Hardwick scans the darkness, sees nothing at first. Then movement, a shape slightly darker than the sky. Twin engines, the distinctive glazed nose of a Junkers 88. Visual, he says. 11 o'clock low, range 1,000 feet. Good, take your time. Hardwick closes to 800 feet. The Junkers hold steady course. Still hunting, still broadcasting. The crew inside has no idea. 600 feet. He matches speed. The Junkers sits perfectly framed in his gun sight. 400 feet. Port engines centered, not the cockpit, not the crew. For Lorelei, he thinks. For the bomber crews who will live because this aircraft dies. He fires. 3 seconds. 4 cannons. 200 rounds. Orange tracers arc through the darkness. Impact the port engine. Metal tears. Sparks become flames. Fire streams back from the nacelle. The Junkers rolls hard right. Diving. The port wing is burning now. Secondary explosions ripple through the fuel tanks. Hardwick pulls up, watches it fall. Prescott has binoculars up. Confirmed, crashed east of our position. First kill, time 1906. Hardwick's hands are steady. His breathing is controlled. He feels nothing. That is the trick. Feel nothing. Think about mathematics, about closure rates and signal strength, not about 3 men falling. Contact, Prescott says. New contact, range 4 miles, bearing 110. Already hunting the second. Kill 2, kill 3. The second intercept takes 11 minutes. Another Junkers 88. This one heading directly toward Bonninghard Airfield. Prescott guides them in. Hardwick closes to 400 feet. Centers the starboard engine this time. Variation matters. Predictability can be fatal. 3-second burst. Starboard wing erupts in flames. The entire wing, not just the engine. The fuel tanks ignite. The Junkers pitches nose down, violently. Rolls left. Pilot fighting for control, but physics has already decided. Secondary explosions ripple through the fuselage. The aircraft inverts completely and dives. Prescott tracks it to impact. Confirmed, crashed in open farmland. Time 1917, 2 kills. Hardwick says nothing. He is thinking about the pilot. Wondered if the man had time to understand what was happening, if he knew his aircraft was going to burn before it hit the ground, if he thought about anything or just felt terror. Stop thinking, Hardwick tells himself. Do the job. Multiple contacts, Prescott says. His voice has changed, sharper. Range varying 3 miles to 5 miles. Different bearings, all converging on Bonninghart Airfield. How many? 6? No, 7? 8. They are forming up. Hardwick understands immediately. The Germans are stacking. Standard procedure. Night fighters circle a designated point at different altitudes. 500 feet separation between each aircraft. Wait for ground control to vector them toward bomber streams. 8 aircraft, 40 to 50 feet from each other vertically, all in the same orbital pattern. Circling, waiting, broadcasting their radar while they search. And Prescott can see all of them. Graham Hardwick says quietly, I am going in. Into the formation. Join the pattern. Fly with them. They will not see us. Silence for 3 seconds. Then Prescott's voice very calm. That is the most dangerous thing I have ever heard you suggest. Can you keep track of spacing? Yes. Then we do it. Hardwick reduces altitude to 14,000 feet. Prescott guides them toward the orbital pattern. Contact ahead, 1,500 feet. Contact behind, 1,800 feet. You are in the pattern. The Mosquito slips into the circuit, flying clockwise. 2-mile diameter circle centered on Bonninghart Airfield. 1,500 feet ahead a German night fighter. 1,800 feet behind another. They are flying in formation with the enemy. In absolute darkness, there is no visual reference. No way to distinguish friend from foe. The German pilots cannot see the Mosquito. Their radar looks outward for bombers not at the aircraft next to them. For 90 seconds, Hardwick and Prescott orbit with 8 German night fighters. The hunters flying with the hunted, neither side aware of the other. Prescott's voice is tense now. Contact ahead closing. Range 1,000 feet. He is reducing speed. Matching, Hardwick says. Throttles back slightly. Contact behind is maintaining position. We are clear. Hardwick selects the contact ahead, adds slight power, begins closing, smooth, gradual. The orbital pattern means they are all flying similar speeds. 230 knots. He needs to close without alerting the aircraft behind. 90 feet per minute closure rate, glacially slow, but precise. At 1928 visual contact. Messerschmitt 110, twin engine. Heavier than the Junkers variants, the dedicated night fighter. Crew of 3, 4 forward cannons, 2 upward firing Schrage music, 1 rear defensive gun. This is a professional crew. Experienced, dangerous, which means they must be eliminated before they reach the bomber stream. Hardwick closes to 500 feet. The Messerschmitt holds perfect position in the orbit. Professional flying, 400 feet. He can see the twin tail booms. The glazed nose from the radar operator. Exhaust stacks glowing faint red. Port engine centered. 3 seconds. Fire. The cannons hammer. Tracers stream forward. The port engine explodes. Fuel spray ignites across the wing. The Messerschmitt rolls violently left, dropping out of the pattern. Hardwick pulls up and right, staying clear of the formation. The burning fighter spirals down. Impact at 1930. Prescott confirms. 3rd kill, but the formation knows now. Prescott's scope shows the pattern breaking. Aircraft scattering. They are transmitting warnings. Ground control knows there is an intruder. The element of surprise is gone, and they are still over enemy territory with hostile fighters all around. Contact, Prescott says. Not running, turning toward us. Range 1,200 yards. Bearing 090, closing fast. 1 German pilot is not retreating. 1 German pilot saw the explosion, saw the Mosquito silhouette against the flames, is coming to investigate or engage. Kill 4, head on. At night, 1,200 yards is close range. Too close. Hardwick makes the decision in 2 seconds. He turns hard into the contact. Banks 60 degrees. If the German expects them to run, this will surprise him. Night fighting is geometry, angles, closure rates, energy management. The pilot who controls the merge controls the fight. Range 1,000 yards, Prescott says. Closure rate, 400 knots combined. Ely, he is coming straight at us. I know. Head-on pass. Yes. That is mutual vulnerability. Both aircraft firing, both exposed. I know, Graham. 800 yards. Prescott gets radar return. Contact confirmed. Junkers 88, possibly G variant. Newer model. 600 yards, both aircraft converging. Combined speed over 400 knots. 440 feet per second closure. Hardwick has 10 seconds to decide. Head on or break off. Breaking off means giving the German control, letting him dictate terms. coming around for another pass while other Germans close in. Head-on means standing in front of a freight train and hoping your aim is better than his. 500 yards. 400. The Junkers opens fire. Orange tracers arc toward them. Pass to the left of the Mosquito's port wing. Close. The German gunner has visual. Is firing. 300 yards. 200. The Junkers fills the gun sight. Hardwick can see the glazed nose. The crew inside. 3 men firing at him. He presses the trigger. Full burst. 5 seconds. Every remaining round, at all 4 cannons. A concentrated stream of 200 shells in 5 seconds. The Junkers staggers in midair. Multiple hits across the nose and cockpit. The glazed bombardier position shatters. Glass and metal explode. One engine catches fire, then the other. Both wings burning. The aircraft pitches up sharply, rolls inverted, falls away burning. Prescott tracks it. Impact. Time 1940. All crew. No shoots. No survivors. Silencing. Hardwick's hands shake on the controls. First time in 15 kills his hands shake. He fired into the cockpit. Not the engine. The cockpit. Direct hit on the crew compartment. At 200 yards he saw them, saw the men, then fired. Eli, Prescott's voice is quiet. I am here. Are you all right? 4 kills, 37 minutes. We need to go home. Fuel state is adequate. We could home Graham now. Hardwick turns northwest, away from Bonninghart, away from the scattered German fighters, away from the bomber stream approaching from the west. 4 German night fighters destroyed in 37 minutes. He used approximately 400 rounds total. 300 remain, but spread across 4 magazines. Not enough for sustained engagement. Fuel state critical for reserves. They need to get out of German airspace. Prescott reports clear scopes. No immediate contacts. The other Germans have scattered after the warnings. Some landing, some repositioning. The orbital pattern is broken. Behind them, 4 German night fighters burn on German soil. 4 crews who will never intercept another bomber. 4 aircraft that will never kill another Lancaster. The mathematics are simple, brutal, necessary. But Hardwick keeps seeing the Junkers at 200 yards. The crew visible through the nose. Then the shells hitting. The glass shattering. He tells himself it was necessary. Head-on pass. Mutual vulnerability. Fire first or die. He tells himself he had no choice. He tells himself the German was firing at him. But his hands still shake. The return. They cross back over Belgium at 1952. Prescott makes notes for the combat report. Times, locations, aircraft types, ammunition expended. Neither man speaks. The silence is different from the professional silence during the hunt. This is heavier, weight settling. At 2100 hours, they cross the English coast. Flak batteries at the mouth of the Thames hold fire. IFF transponder identifies them as friendly. Clear over the North Sea. Friendly territory in 20 minutes. Prescott runs systems check. Fuel shows 200 gallons. Enough for another hour if needed. Hydraulics normal. Engines normal. No damage from the engagement. 0 hits taken. 4 targets. 4 kills. Perfect execution. But Hardwick's hands still grip the controls too tight. He keeps seeing the 4th Junkers. The cockpit shattering. Wondering if they died instantly or if they had seconds to understand. Seconds to feel terror. Seconds to think about families they would never see again. Eli, Prescott says finally. The 4th one, you had no choice. I know. He was firing at us, head on. If you had not fired first, we would be the ones falling. I know, Graham. Then why do your hands shake? Hardwick looks at his hands on the control column. They are shaking, trembling. He cannot stop them. Because I saw them, he says quietly. All the other kills I aimed for engines. Fired from behind or below. Never saw the crew. But this one I was 200 yards away head on. I saw the nose. Saw movement inside. Then I fired and it shattered. I killed them, Graham, not the machine. Them. Prescott is silent for a long moment. Then, yes, you did, and they would have killed us. War is not mathematics, Eli, not really. We use mathematics to make it bearable. Closure rates, signal strength, fuel consumption. But in the end, it is just men killing men. You know this. Knowing and doing are different. Yes, they are. At 2021, the English coast appears ahead. Norfolk, RAF Swanington sits 15 miles inland. Prescott radios tower. Mosquito HK 397, returning. 4 victories claimed. Permission to land. The controller's voice comes back immediately. Cleared straight in HK 397. Runway 27. Wind light, weather clear. Outstanding work tonight. Outstanding work. 4 men dead by Hardwick's hand. Outstanding work. They enter the pattern at 2028. Hardwick reduces power, extends flaps, landing gear down. 3 green lights confirm. The Mosquito settles onto the runway at 2032 hours. Smooth touchdown. They roll out, turn onto the taxiway, proceed to dispersal. Ground crew are waiting, always waiting, counting aircraft out, counting them back. The crew chief approaches as engines shut down. Word is already spread. 4 kills, 4 in one night. No one has done that. Hardwick and Prescott climb out, fill out initial combat reports. Times, positions, aircraft types, ammunition used. 1 Messerschmitt, 110 destroyed. 3 Junkers, 88 destroyed. The intelligence officer will debrief them fully tomorrow. Get detailed accounts. Correlate with German records eventually, but tonight preliminary claims stand. 4 kills, 37 minutes. A record. Hardwick's hands have stopped shaking. He signs the combat report with steady handwriting. Walks to the crew room, sits down, stares at the wall. Prescott sits beside him, says nothing, just sits. After 5 minutes, Hardwick speaks. How many more, Graham? How many more before this is over? I do not know. 14 before tonight, 4 tonight, 18 total. If we keep flying, if we keep hunting, how high does the number go? Prescott does not answer, cannot answer, because neither of them knows when this war will end. Neither knows how many more missions, how many more kills, how many more faces seen at 200 yards before the shells hit. They just know tomorrow there will be another briefing, another mission, another hunt in the darkness, and the number will keep climbing. November 5th, 1944. Luftwaffe High Command, Berlin. The report arrives on General Lieutenant Josef Kammhuber's desk at 0800 hours. 4 Nachtjagdgeschwader aircraft lost on the night of November 4th, all in the same patrol area, all within 40 minutes. 1 Messerschmitt, 110 from 2nd Staffel. 3 Junkers, 88s from various units. All destroyed near Bonninghart Airfield. No enemy bomber formations in that sector. No flak batteries, no ground fire, just gone. Kammhuber reads the survivor reports. A pilot who bailed from the first Junkers describes seeing tracer fire from behind. Never saw the attacking aircraft, never got a radar warning. Just suddenly his engine was burning and he was falling. A radar operator from the Messerschmitt recovered with severe burns reports the same. No warning, no contact on his scope. Then fire and chaos. The pattern is clear. Someone is hunting German night fighters, using their own radar emissions to find them. Attacking from positions the Liechtenstein cannot detect. Destroying aircraft before crews know they are in danger. Kammhuber picks up his telephone, issues new directives. Night fighters are ordered to reduce radar use to absolute minimum. Some crews are told to fly without radar entirely. The tactical dilemma is immediate. Use radar and risk detection. Do not use radar and fly blind, unable to find British bombers. Either way, losses mount. Within a week, Luftwaffe pilots have a name for it. Mosquito Schreck, Mosquito Terror. The fear of the wooden British fighter that appears from nowhere. Kills without warning. Disappears into darkness. German night fighter pilots begin reporting constant anxiety during a landing approaches. The moment of maximum vulnerability. Gear down, flaps extended, slow, low, no maneuverability. Perfect target. They imagine mosquitoes orbiting their own airfields. Waiting, watching, hunting. Most of the time, their imagination is wrong, but sometimes it is right, and that is enough to create terror. November through December, the toll climbs. Hardwick and Prescott fly 11 more missions in November. They destroy 3 more German aircraft. 1 Messerschmitt, 110 near Essen on November 12th. 2 Junkers 88s near Dusseldorf on November 23rd. Their total stands at 21. The missions blur together. Take off at dusk, patrol over Germany, Prescott's voice calling contacts, Hardwick closing to firing range, 3-second bursts, fire, crash, return to Swanington. Fill out combat reports, sleep, briefing, repeat. The number climbs, but the weight does not decrease. If anything, it grows heavier. 21 aircraft, 63 men. Hardwick does not know how many survived. The combat reports do not track that, only aircraft destroyed. In early December, Bomber Command statistics show German night fighter effectiveness has decreased 28% since October. Losses are down, more crews coming home. The intruder tactics are working. 100 group claims 63 enemy aircraft destroyed in November. Hardwick and Prescott accounted for 7 of those. Air Vice Marshal Addison, the group commander, sends personal congratulations. Mentions potential for Distinguished Service Order, medals, recognition. Hardwick files the letter without reading it twice. He does not want medals. He wants the war to end, wants to go home to Cedar Rapids, work the farm, fix tractors, see stars without wondering if German pilots see the same stars. But the war does not end. December continues, more missions, more patrols, but no more kills before the final mission. December 23rd, they get orders for another mission. Bomber Command hitting oil refineries near Koblenz. German night fighters expected to scramble. Their job escort patrol, fly with the bomber stream, hunt any German fighters that approach. Routine mission, standard procedure. They have flown dozens like it. Prescott files the mission plan. Hardwick runs pre-flight checks. Everything normal. Neither man has any indication this will be the last mission they fly together. December 23rd, 1944, 21:15 hours, southwest of Ludwigshafen. The bomber stream stretches for miles. 400 Lancasters heading east toward Koblenz. Navigation lights off. Flying in darkness. The drone of 2,000 engines fills the sky. Hardwick and Prescott fly 2,000 feet above the stream. Watching, waiting. Prescott's serrate detector sweeps continuously, looking for German radar emissions. Contact, Prescott says, range 4 miles, bearing 180, crossing left to right. Type. Signal strength indicates standard Liechtenstein, probably Junkers 88 or Messerschmitt 110. Roger, coming around. Hardwick banks right, leaves the bomber stream behind, follows the bearing Prescott calls. This is their 20th intercept. Routine, standard procedure, but something feels wrong. Prescott senses it too. Ely, this contact is unusual. How? The bearing is steady, not searching, moving in a straight line, as if he knows exactly where he is going. Maybe ground control gave him a vector. Maybe, but it feels deliberate, purposeful. They close to 2 miles. Prescott refines the bearing. Reduced to 200 knots. Visual range in 1 minute. Hardwick throttles back. Scans ahead. Sees movement. Dark silhouette. Twin engines. The distinctive shape of a Messerschmitt 110. Visual, he says. 12 o'clock level. Good. Close to 600 feet. Hardwick matches speed with the Messerschmitt. The German aircraft holds steady course. No evasive action. No indication of awareness. 500 feet. Graham, does he know we are here? His radar should not detect us from this angle. We are in his blind spot. 400 feet. Hardwick centers the port engine in his gun sight. Standard approach. Aim for the engine. 3-second burst. Give them a chance. But Prescott's voice cuts in. Sharp, urgent. Wait, something is wrong. What? His radar just went active, full power. He is scanning. Scanning where? Behind him. He is scanning behind. Eli, he knows. Tracer rounds erupt from the Messerschmitt's rear gun position. Orange streaks, bright in the darkness. The German rear gunner has visual and is firing. MG 113-113mm rounds, 800 rounds per minute. Firing blind into the darkness behind their aircraft, but firing. Hardwick brakes hard left. The tracers pass to starboard. Close. Too close. He jinks right. More tracers. The gunner is tracking them, guessing their position. Praying fire. Return fire, Prescott shouts. Hardwick pulls into firing position. The Messerschmitt is maneuvering now, turning, diving. The pilot knows they are there, is trying to shake them. Hardwick follows, stays on the tail, closes to 300 feet. The rear gunner fires again, longer burst, desperate. Hardwick presses the trigger. 3 seconds, 4 cannons, 200 rounds into the Messerschmitt's fuselage and port engine. The port engine explodes. Fire streams back. The rear gun goes silent. But the Messerschmitt is still flying, still maneuvering. The pilot is good, experienced, fighting for altitude, for position, for his life. Hardwick fires again. Longer burst, 5 seconds. The starboard engine catches fire. Both engines burning now. The Messerschmitt begins to fall, spiraling, out of control. It crashes 2 miles south of their position. Impact, secondary explosion. Flames visible from altitude. Confirmed, Prescott says. His voice sounds strange, strained. Victory 21, then silence. Graham, no response. Hardwick twists in his seat. looks back at the navigator's position. Prescott is slumped over his radar screen, dark stains spreading across his flight suit. Blood. Graham, Prescott's head moves slightly. His voice is weak, barely audible over the engine noise. Hit. Rear gunner. Got me. Hardwick's hands move automatically. Turns the aircraft northwest, toward home. Toward England. His mind is racing. Calculate distance. Fuel. Time. Can they make it? Where is the nearest friendly airfield? Stay with me, Graham. Stay with me. I'm getting you home. Eli. Prescott coughs. More blood. Finish. The mission. The mission is over. We are going home. No, bomber stream still needs. Forget the bomber stream. You need a doctor. Now. Hardwick pushes the throttles to maximum power. The Merlin engines roar. The Mosquito accelerates. 320 knots. 340. Faster than he has ever flown at this altitude. Fuel consumption increasing, but he does not care. Distance to English coast 120 miles. Time at maximum speed 21 minutes. Can Prescott last 21 minutes? Can he last 10? Talk to me, Graham. Stay awake. Tell me about Cambridge. You said you wanted to go to Cambridge after the war. Tell me about that. Prescott's voice is fading. Trinity, Hall, wanted to study. History. Good, yes. History. What kind of history? Medieval, Crusades. Thought it would be interesting. It will be interesting. You will study it after the war. You will go to Cambridge and study Crusades, and you will become a professor. You hear me, Professor Prescott? That has a good sound. Cedar Rapids, Prescott whispers. You said I should visit Cedar Rapids. Yes, after the war. You will visit. You will meet my parents. See the farm. We will fix tractors together. You will hate it, but you will do it because you promised. Promised? Stay with me, Graham. Please. Please stay with me. The English coast is 60 miles ahead. 15 minutes. Hardwick radios ahead. Mayday, 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 Mosquito HK 397. Navigator wounded. Require immediate medical assistance on landing. Swanington or nearest field. The controller's voice comes back. Professional. Calm. HK 397 Swanington is clear. Ambulance standing by. Runway 27. Straight and approach authorized. All other traffic cleared. Roger. Hardwick looks back at Prescott. The navigator's eyes are closed, his breathing shallow, irregular. Graham, eyes open. Look at me. Graham. Prescott's eyes flutter, half open. Eli. 21 victories. Record. I do not care about the record. I care about you. Open your eyes. You should care. Important. You are important. You, not the number. You. The English coast appears ahead. Norfolk, Hardwick descends through 10,000 feet, 8,000, 6,000. Too fast, too steep. The Mosquito shudders. He does not care. 4,000 feet, 3,000. The airfield lights are but visible. Runway 27, lit up. Ambulance waiting at the end. Red Cross visible. 2,000 feet. Final approach. Gear down. 3 green lights. Flaps extended. 1,000 feet. 500. The runway rises to meet them. Too fast. He does not care. The Mosquito slams onto the runway. Hard landing. Hardest landing of his life. The gear absorbs the impact. They roll out. Hardwick does not taxi to dispersal. Stops on the runway. Shuts down engines. Jumps out. Runs to the navigator's hatch. Yanks it open. Prescott is unconscious. Blood everywhere. Hardwick cannot tell where he is hit. Chest, abdomen. Too much blood. The ambulance arrives. Medics climb up. Professional, efficient. They assess Prescott in seconds. Begin applying pressure to wounds. Lift him carefully out of the aircraft. Place him on a stretcher. Hardwick follows. Will he? The senior medic does not answer. Just shakes his head slightly. Keeps working. They load Prescott into the ambulance. Hardwick tries to climb in. I am coming with you. No room, sir. You would be in the way. He is my navigator. I am... Sir, we need to move now. Every second counts. The ambulance doors close. It drives away. Siren blaring. Red lights flashing. Hardwick stands on the runway in the darkness. Watches the red lights disappear toward the base hospital. He is still standing there 15 minutes later when the base chaplain arrives. The chaplain's face tells him everything before any words are spoken. Captain Hardwick, I am very sorry. Flight Lieutenant Prescott died en route to the hospital. The medics did everything possible, but the wounds were too severe. He did not suffer at the end. He was unconscious. I am sorry. Hardwick does not respond, cannot respond, just stands there. Graham Prescott, 26 years old, wanted to study medieval history at Cambridge, wanted to visit Cedar Rapids, wanted to fix tractors even though he would hate it. Dead. Victory number 21. The Kitun. The mathematics of sacrifice. The combat report is filed the next day. December 23, 1944. 1 Messerschmitt 110 destroyed. 21st confirmed victory for the Hardwick-Prescott partnership. Flight Lieutenant Graham Prescott killed in action. Posthumous recommendation for Distinguished Flying Cross. The statistics are compiled by intelligence. 21 German night fighters destroyed. Each German night fighter averaged 6 bomber kills per year. Simple multiplication, 126 bomber crews saved, 1,260 Allied lives, 1 British navigator dead. The mathematics seem favorable. 1,260 lives for 1. An equation that justifies everything. But Hardwick cannot see it that way. He sees Graham Prescott sitting in the navigator's seat, calling bearings, making jokes about American flying, promising to visit Iowa, planning to study crusades. All the lives saved do not balance 1 friend lost. Air Vice Marshal Addison visits 3 days after the mission, offers condolences, offers leave, offers transfer to another crew. Hardwick declines all of it, requests assignment to Night Fighter Leader School as an instructor, no more combat missions. You have done enough, Addison says. 21 victories, the highest scoring American in RAF service. You have earned rest. I do not want rest, sir. I want to teach others what Graham taught me. How to use Serrate, how to hunt in darkness, how to bring their navigators home alive. Addison approves the transfer. Hardwick leaves R95 Squadron in January 1945. His combat tour is complete. His war in the cockpit is over. But the war itself continues for 4 more months. After the war, Cedar Rapids 1946, Elias Hardwick returns to Iowa in May 1946, 25 years old, 4 years since he left. A lifetime. His father meets him at the train station. They shake hands. His father looks older, grayer. The farm has aged him. Welcome home, Eli. Thank you, sir. They drive to the farm in silence. His mother cries when she sees him, holds him, whispers, Lorelei would be proud. The farm is exactly as he left it. Same barn, same tractors, same fields. Nothing has changed except everything has changed. He works the farm, fixes tractors, does not speak about the war. When neighbors ask, he says only, I flew night fighters in England, did my part. They do not press. Most veterans do not want to talk. The town understands this. In his room on the mantle, he places a photograph. Graham Prescott in his flight suit, smiling, taken at Swanington in October 1944, before the final mission. Every November 4th, Hardwick drives to the cemetery where Lorelei is buried, places flowers, sits for an hour, tells her about the war, about 21 victories, about 1,260 lives saved, about 1 friend lost. Every December 23rd, he opens a bottle of scotch, pours 2 glasses, drinks 1, leaves 1 untouched on the table beside Prescott's photograph. A memorial, a promise kept. He never marries the sweetheart he left behind. She married someone else during the war. He does not blame her. 4 years is a long time. He marries in 1950. A local girl, they have 2 children. He raises them on the farm, teaches them about tractors, about machines, about mastering things. He never teaches them about war. RAF Museum, Hendon, London, 1985. The telegram arrives in March. RAF Museum invites Captain Elias Hardwick, USAAF, to attend ceremony unveiling Mosquito NF Mark II exhibit. Guest of honor, all expenses paid. Please confirm. Hardwick is 64 years old, has not been to England since 1946, has not seen a mosquito in 40 years, he confirms. Books a flight, travels to London. The museum is impressive. Large hangar, dozens of aircraft, Spitfires, Hurricanes, Lancasters, and in the center, a de Havilland Mosquito NF Mark II, serial number different from the one he flew, but the same type, the same wooden airframe, the same twin Merlins, the same machine that carried him through 58 combat missions. The ceremony is formal. Museum director speaks, mentions the Mosquito's role in night fighting, mentions 100 group, mentions the highest scoring crews. We are honored to have with us today Captain Elias Hardwick of the United States Army Air Forces. Captain Hardwick flew with 85 Squadron from 1942 to 1945. He and his navigator, Flight Lieutenant Graham Prescott, destroyed 21 German night fighters, the highest scoring American night fighter partnership of the war. Polite applause. Hardwick stands, shakes hands with the director, poses for photographs beside the Mosquito. After the ceremony, he asks for a moment alone with the aircraft. They grant it. He stands before the Mosquito, runs his hand along the wooden fuselage, feels the grain, remembers 58 missions, 21 kills, 1,260 lives saved, one friend lost. He whispers, "We did it, Graham. Just like you said, the record stands. 40 years later, still stands." A plaque is mounted beside the aircraft, brass, engraved. Captain Elias Hardwick, USAAF. Flight Lieutenant Graham Prescott, RAF. 85 Squadron 100 Group. 21 victories, November 1943 to December 1944. Highest scoring American night fighter partnership. Graham's name is there, permanent, remembered. That matters more than the victories. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, November 2003. Elias Hardwick dies on November 1st, 2003, 82 years old. Heart failure, at home, surrounded by family. The funeral is small. Family, friends, veterans from the local VFW post. A chaplain from the Air Force Base at Des Moines reads the service. They bury him with full military honors. Flag-draped coffin, 3-volley salute, taps played by a young airman who never met him. His logbook is donated to the Smithsonian Institution, National Air and Space Museum. It sits in the archives now, available to researchers. The page for November 4th, 1944 reads, Mission 44, Intruder Patrol, southeast of Cologne. 4 Ju-88s destroyed. Time 37 minutes. Graham's radar work exceptional. Could not have done it without him. 21 total victories now. Record. But all I think about is Graham kept me alive tonight. I owe him everything. The entry for December 23rd, 1944 is different. Handwriting shaky, ink smudged. Mission 58, Graham killed. Last mission together, last mission period. Cannot do this without him. Will not do this without him. 21 victories final. Record stands. Price too high, never again. He never flew combat again. The record, 80 years later. 21 victories, the highest scoring American night fighter pilot in history. The record stood in 1945 when the war ended. Stood in 1985 when Hardwick visited the RAF Museum. Stands today 80 years after that night over Cologne. No American pilot has surpassed it. The tactics have changed. The technology has evolved. Radar, missiles, beyond visual range combat. But the record remains. 21 German night fighters destroyed. 1,260 Allied lives saved. 1 navigator killed. 1 pilot who lived with that weight for 58 years. The invisible hunter who used mathematics, impatience, and partnership to defeat an enemy that never saw him coming. In post-war interviews, Luftwaffe General Lieutenant Josef Kamhuber was asked about the Mosquito night fighters. His assessment: the serrate Mosquitoes were more dangerous than any bomber formation. They turned our own technology against us, made us afraid of our own radar, created terror in our most experienced crews. We never found an effective counter. They simply hunted us until the war ended. But Hardwick, when asked the same question in a 1985 interview, gave a different answer. People ask if I was afraid. Every single mission, terrified. But Graham was there. We had a job to do, simple as that. We did it together. When he died, the job was done. I had nothing left to prove. The number does not matter. What matters is we saved lives. We brought bomber crews home. Graham died doing that. I lived. That is the only equation that matters. The Mosquito sits in the RAF Museum today. Visitors walk past, read the plaque, learn about the highest scoring American night fighter ace, learn about 21 victories in 14 months. What they do not learn is the weight, the mathematics of trading 1 life to save 1,000. They do not learn about a young man from Cedar Rapids who wanted to fix aircraft and ended up hunting men in darkness. They do not learn about a British navigator who wanted to study medieval history but died in an ambulance on a cold December night. They learn the number, 21. But numbers do not tell the whole story. They never do. The record stands. 80 years later, still stands. And somewhere in Iowa, in a small cemetery, two glasses sit on a grave marker every December 23rd. One drunk, one untouched. A promise kept. A friendship that survived war death in 80 years. That is the real record. That is what endures.